Hello friends, my name is RagePanda1 and today we are going to get into the wild world of hybrids and the creativity that lies therein. Not only can you use this to make your characters perform the way that you want them to perform, you can also make them look the way that you want to make them look, and I think that's really awesome. However, a trap that some people fall into is that they will put somebody's looks onto a character because it looks very cool, and they won't pay too much attention to the traits that they're actually transferring over, and the pitfall there is that you may be actually weakening your characters just to make them look pretty. I'm going to show you here today how to make them look pretty and be effective at the same time. The first thing we're going to try to do is guarantee a hybrid by putting Agile into this second slot. This slot that currently has Loyal is called the secondary trait slot. You must get this inherent trait, the one that's glowing, into this secondary trait slot in order to create a hybrid. If you get the glowing trait, but it goes into one of these bottom three, you will not get a hybrid because it is in the wrong slot. So I'm sure a lot of you have run into that issue and you're not sure why you didn't get a hybrid. That is likely why. So what I usually do in this situation, because as you're going to see, this can be a convoluted mess that is just not fun or worth it. Usually I will say, okay, I've crossed out two of the traits. I've matched up confident and confident, healthy and healthy, so I have a somewhat good chance of getting what I want. I'll just do a couple marriages and see what happens. That's usually how I go about things, and at worst I come out about even with what we're doing here, and then at best sometimes I get lucky and get what I want straight away. But for you, the viewers, we're going to go through the long, complicated process, and the way that we need to do that is we need to start matching up some more traits. We don't need to worry about matching up Loyal because that's going to be replaced anyway. What we do need to match up still here is a Brutal in one of these slots and a Pyromancer in one of these slots. Once we've accomplished that, then Agile will be the only thing that we can send over, and we will be guaranteed to get ourselves a hybrid with a level 18 trait. Of course, this is a lot easier to do if you're doing it on lower level people, or lower rarity people, I should say. The problem with that is it's not really worth it because you want the higher level traits. So you need to be doing this on mythic people and you need to go through the complicated mess or it wasn't worth it in the first place. So now I need to go find some marriage partners for this young lady to get her the traits that she needs. And I'm going to start with Pyromancer. Incredible! There's another layer of BS we have to go through to guarantee this trait goes over. I don't have a common Ignis just chilling in my roster, and when you are doing this, you will find that you don't have exactly what you need either, unless you are a whale, in which case you should just be doing whatever you want anyway. So in order to get our Pyromancer onto this lady, we are going to want to match this noble into one of the other traits here. We've already got confident matched to confident, and that's great. But now I need to put either healthy, hexproof, or pure heart into this slot that says noble, and let's do that now. Since we're going to be marrying this guy to a Trevane in general, it's okay for us to use Agile to cross out that other trait. But also, if I put that in this noble slot here, then I will actually get a Vigor boost, and it just helps overall, so that's a little bit of a lucky thing. In order to get the trait that we're looking for, we're just trying to use a common for this because we don't care about the level of the trait, we just care about matching the traits in general. So I know that I can click this, and I 100% am going to be getting myself a little bit of a hybrid with a little bit of a Vigor boost, and then I'll be able to use this guy to put Pyromancer onto our other lady. So here he is with both of his little icons crossed out, as you can see. And we go ahead and transfer this over, and hooray, we get a little bit of a Vigor boost for that as well. So that'll be a nice little bonus to this. And it's always good to remind yourself of what you actually need. So for this one, we need Brutal. We are going to look for Brutal to put onto our chick any way we can. And I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hate doing this. I think it is so frustrating to do. And the gamble is just better, and that's what I'm going to do here. I could, if I wanted to, go find another common and marry off Cutthroat to match one of these other traits that I'm keeping, and then it would be fine. But I just can't be arsed, you know? I just can't be. Or however you do accents. I'm not I'm not an accent guy. So we're going to take the gamble. It's 50-50. We're hoping for the best. We're feeling lucky, and we're never disappointed by a 50-50 chance. Hell yeah, baby! This is what we play for! For me, that's worth it. And it's so fun when it works. And now, we finally come to the moment of fruition. We have matched all of these bottom 4 traits, including matching our Pyromancer to our inherent trait. That's a very important part of this. If you don't do that, you're going to have one spare trait out here that you could possibly get, and it'll screw up the whole thing. So it's not fun to have to put that on there, but if you want it to be guaranteed, then that's what you're going to have to do. So now when I click this button, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves an actual max level trait and a hybrid with all of the vigor boosts that come with it, including the transferring of the vigor from all the marriages it took to get our spouse into the order we needed her to be in. And it takes all of that work just to guarantee the one trait. And to be honest with you, we got a little bit lucky with the things that we had available to make those things happen. Now, I am going to show you how to get the trait that you want with the appearance that you want, but I am not going to do that on Mythics because essentially I would have to do what I just did twice. And also, I would have to be marrying off some mythic characters that I don't necessarily want to be doing. So we're going to do this in a toned down, easier version, but hopefully you understand how to guarantee the traits that you are getting at this point. The trick to getting the visuals that you want with the trait that you want is you need to first put the trait that you want onto a character with the visuals that you want. And finally, you will use that spouse as a character to marry to the person that you want to have hybrid visuals and an alternate clan trait. Okay, so since we're just doing a little test here, I am not going to cancel out everything. If I was going to try to, I would need to put clever down over healthy and foolhardy down over healthy over here. It's important that we are still transferring our clan trait, in this case agile, into our secondary slot if we want to get the visual appearance. And even though we get agile, we should look like we have our Karg hybrid parts, and that's very cool. So as you can see, we've got a big, beautiful pair of horns there on our little wolfy deer, and we don't have any crappy Karg traits in our bottom section. Of course, if you want to do this for real with mythic characters, you saw how difficult the process can be in the beginning of the video. I would have had to do that multiple times in order to make this happen at a higher level just to get the appearance. So realistically speaking, that is not something that is totally worth doing at all. It is totally an extra, and it takes a little bit of excess materials. And it's something maybe you would want to do either if you're very casual and you just like your pretty characters to be pretty, or if you are in the end game and you have a ton of materials and it doesn't really matter for you. And since our Vigor farm falls under the umbrella of being a hybrid related thing, I will cover that here as well. This is going to start off with an unfortunate gamble. There's nothing that we can do about it if we are doing it this way, and I think this is the best way to do it. We could eliminate that by making our main person here rare and then canceling out this healthy trait, but then that means that we're going to have to cancel out a trait every single time that we bounce it back and forth. You will have to do that if you've already made all of your companions rare. That's just the way it is, and it's unfortunate. But you can stack up a bunch of sets of people that, for instance, all have hexproof. And then you know whenever you get one that's hexproof, they're going to be part of this Vigor chain that's bouncing back and forth. So you can do workarounds, but it ain't that fun. Let's see if we win our gamble here. If at first you don't succeed, cry again. You may notice that I'm specifically picking my 1-star ASIN champions. It's not specifically ASINs that I'm looking for, but it is specifically 1-stars because those are technically cheaper to use than the higher ascended people. So that's 3 times now that we have not succeeded in doing that, and that's fairly normal. If we get past 5, I'll be a little annoyed. Luckily, we only need this gamble to work once per time that we want to do our Vigor farm. My life is in shambles. Alright, this is the one. This is number 5. It's gotta be the one. It has to be, right? Yay! It finally happened. Now what we need to do is we need to go back into our commons and we need to find specifically a Karg, but of the female variety, because the one that we had before was a male, and then when we click to replace her cutthroat, it can only be devout. Ain't no gambles here. We just ride in the Vigor train at this point. And after we've done that, we will go ahead and put that trait immediately right back on a male. And there is actually a further trick with that I will show you now. And that is that you may run out of the people that you started working with, and you may need something else. And if you ran out of your original clan, and you need somebody else to transfer the Vigor farm to, then whichever trait that you have that you are bouncing back and forth, you want to switch to that clan. Because now, when I click on Pure Heart, Devout will be canceled out, and then, of course, I'm guaranteed to get Foolhardy onto her. And there we go, that's another guaranteed hybrid. And why not? We'll keep the train rolling for one more, starting with a male Aeson this time, since we just got done using a female. We put her over here, click the trait, guaranteed to get our thing. I'm sure by now that is hammered into your head and you understand how it works. When you are done with that, and I am happy to be done with that because I am playing on a random testing account that I don't actually play on, I will go grab my 13 levels of Vigor that are on this guy. I will not be selecting any of the traits. I don't want to transfer any traits. It's going to say that my traits are greater value than the other guy, that's fine, and that I have not selected a trait to replace, so I will only gain Vigor, and that is fine. So instantly, I transfer all 13 levels that I had stored up, plus whatever I would have gotten from that marriage in the first place, and you can keep bouncing this back and forth until infinity. However many you want to do. Each level that you go higher takes more marriages to actually complete that level, so it can take quite a while if you're like trying to get to Vigor level 100 or something. It'll take a whole heap of dudes to be able to get that far, but you can take it as far as you want to take it. If you feel like any of this information was worth a like on the video, then please by all means I will remind you to do that now. And thank you for liking the video and telling me that I have earned that appreciation. That is heartwarming. The parade of pictures and extra videos of hybrids and cool looks that you've seen on the sides of this video have again been courtesy of Miranda. So everybody in the comments say, thanks Miranda. She's the best. We appreciate all of the help. And I would like to thank you for watching this video. This one took considerably longer to make than any other video I've made. I have been RagePanda1, and I will see you in the next one.